Hi everyone. Okay, this is really weird because I was told that I was just supposed to play and not speak, and now I'm told that I'm supposed to speak and maybe play. So I'm just going to set everything up here. Thank you, Shiraz, for your very, very warm and so what I decided to do was, I'm not sure if you guys have heard the kind of music that I was doing. But basically, I was, I think, might have been 17 or 18 when I was in the class. And Mrs. Rahman actually is my aunt as well, so she should give you guys extra grades. Good grades. And I was actually quite a horrible student. So, I loved literature because literature ran in my family. And it was something that I responded to very naturally without thinking of like what grade I would get or not get. So certain things in literature would appeal to me and certain things would totally turn me off. To this day, I still remember that I enjoyed the plays, poetry, much more than the novels. And maybe it was because we just had bad novels, we had Return of the Native, which I was never able to finish, and Howard's End, which I never got through that either. Mansfield Park was also horrible. It was just like I was wondering what were these people tripping on when they wrote this, So, but Chaucer was fun, Keats was fun, Shakespeare was fun. So somehow, obviously, there's, like Shiraz was saying, it's unfortunate that our education systems don't encourage individuality. They just encourage these sort of like blanket sort of like levels of achievement. And I was probably not as bad a student as my grades reflected, but there was no way you'd know that because I just didn't do well on certain things. So what I'm trying to say is that it's actually quite okay to fail because school and college, they're not tests of life. They're just, it's like Shiraz was saying, it's just learning. And some things you learn really well and some things, you won't do that well on. But it's not life or death. And I remember one time we were supposed to play and I was very, very nervous. I still get really nervous. And one of my friends, he's an amazing bass player. He's a British guy. And he looked at me, he said, it's important to breathe as well. It's quite okay if you make a mistake. So, and that's why I think I like music. I think all of us who are involved with music on each level, that's why we like music, because it sort of like starts out with some kind of idea, and then you develop it into a statement, and then you develop the statement into a little sort of a paragraph, and then you go to the next idea. So it's one idea to the next. And the amazing thing about it is that it doesn't cost money to think of ideas, and you just create it. It's just creation. And I have a fear that a lot of modern systems are designed to stop people thinking in certain ways. They're encouraging them to think in very, very tried and tested and very sort of like formulaic approaches towards generally their own lives and generally towards the act of being creative. Like what is considered good, or good music, or good art. It's so irrelevant because there is no really telling that what is good or bad. No one can actually tell. And just like he was saying, that just because you've gotten an A, it doesn't really mean you're educated. It just means that you got a certain standard accomplished. But that in of itself doesn't imply you with the true knowledge of the act of doing that thing. So I think there's a certain education that one takes beyond college, and that's when you actually have to interact with real people and work in the real world and deal with situations. And I don't know of any professional person who has not had their share of good or bad. If you do really brilliantly on one thing, there is no guarantee that every task that you're going to do, you're just going to sail through it. So there is no telling. So having said that, what I'm basically trying to get at is that if there's people in here who are not the best students, it's perfectly okay, because you might just have an amazing talent, which some guy who's gotten like 20,000 A's is never going to have. And during my time, we had this whole getting A's, like, you know, getting 6 A's or getting 4 A's or getting 8 A's, that craze had just started, I think around in 1990, and we were just like, what are these people eating, man? I mean, like, how do you get like 3 A's? You know, how do you manage that? And it really, the standard was that if you got a B, people would be pretty happy that, you know, chalo B aa gaya, it's better than, like, you know, I thought I was going to get a C, man. But, yeah, this whole craze, this extreme pressure to conform and to be exceptional at certain accepted standards is just fake. So don't let it like change the stuff you guys want to do. Because honestly, when I was 17, 18, like if I had known that the music business would be so corrupt and so messed up, maybe I would not have gotten into it professionally, but I never even thought about it. I just did it, and a lot of my friends did it. You know, Farad, like, we just played because we loved playing, and there was nothing else to do. The alternatives were so bad that, you know, it was like, oh my God, like, you know, I can't work in a band, I can't do this. I have to do good at this. And a lot of us came up that way. And I really think that those musicians, especially in the context of Lahore, and generally in Pakistan, I think those guys who came up during our time, they were definitely committed to it on a very personal level. It meant something to them. We were not doing it to be on billboards, we were not doing it to be on TV, we were not doing it because we wanted to be stars, we were doing it because we loved doing it. And there was a real scene which unfortunately it's died out now in Pakistan. Now it's all about, you know, which soft drink endorses you and how many videos do you have and, like, you know, what clothes, which designer are you wearing and that kind of stuff. And it's ridiculous. So the entire emphasis has just shifted on images and materialism, and there is actually no heart involved anymore. And that's why so much music sounds so bad, because it's just made to manipulate people. So the music itself is not letting you feel anything. It's just blasted at you, and it doesn't let you feel anything because it's not made with the intent of making you feel or think. It's made with the intent of just plastering all this very mediocre, you know, like very horrible sort of like, there's no meaning to it, really. It's just mindless noise which fills up airwaves and TV ads, and so that's my personal assessment. So don't like be scared of being different, basically, is what I'm saying. Even if you're not the best at it, and I'm certainly not anywhere as good as Shiraz said. I know many musicians who are just unbelievable, and those guys are struggling. They don't have a job, you know, but they love their art, so, and they're not willing to sell out. And I get inspired by that, you know, if this person living somewhere, wherever in London or wherever in India, is so amazing, and yet they can't get a job. At least, you know, I have these little things happening for me. So just keep a realistic perspective. Like, there is no such thing as failure. There's only, like, you know, there's something that you can do, because people are unique. So there's always going to be something that you're going to do really better than anyone else around you. So you should never forget that, because who knows, like, you know, they could be like another Picasso or another, you know, Albert Einstein. I mean, Einstein flunked. I think he wasn't even, they kicked him out of college because they said that he doesn't know what he's doing. So that goes to prove a point. Anyways, enough talking. Have I gone on long enough? Yeah? So I'll play this tune for you. This tune is going to be quite aggressive, and the reason is that it was written about this giant called Pantagruel. Has anybody, you know the word gargantuan? Gargantuan, actually, the Pantagruel's father was called Gargantua, and it was both these giants are father and brother. Gargantua being the father, Pantagruel being his son, and basically they're found in French mythology, and basically these two giants are actually very fun-loving. And so they kind of like go wandering through villages, and they end up at their bars, and they drink all their alcohol, and they have like a party, and they just eat. And basically all they want to do is just hang out and enjoy themselves. But whenever people see them coming, because they're so huge and they look so ferocious, people get very scared. And ultimately the giants pick up on this, that people are actually just petrified of them, and they don't want them to disturb them. And so the whole tune was written with this idea of these massive lumbering creatures going through an area, and how when you look at the size of something, And this could apply to any task as well. You know, you're just like, oh my God, I'm never going to get through this. But actually, the size or the stature of something really doesn't show you what they're like inside as a person or as a being. So this particular tune has this very frantic main section, and then there's a middle section which is very, very sort of like, well, comparatively sedate, and that actually shows that something that is so huge doesn't necessarily have to be mean or evil. So it's really about perception and reality. The tune is really about that, but it's going to be loud, so I'm warning all the people that this will be loud and a lot of noisy guitars and stuff, so enjoy it. Thank you. Yeah.